the philosophical system that distinguished the martial arts of Asia. Most martial arts practiced around the world today have come mainly from China, Korea, Japan, and Okinawa. Only in Asia did different styles of empty-handed combat become an art regarded as a state secret or harbored within the walls of religious monasteries. Legend has it that in the early 6th century, Bodhidharma, an Indian monk and Buddhist missionary, began a long trek from Western India to China. There he would preach Buddhist doctrine. Ultimately, his journey took him to the remote Shaolin Temple in central China.
The
Shaolin Temple was founded in 495 AD in the Wen Dynasty, and Bodhidharma came to the temple in 527 AD. He taught many things at Shaolin: Buddhism, philosophy, meditation.
Bodhidharma taught the Shaolin monks meditative breathing and stretching exercises like these that the monks named 18 Hands of the Lohan, or exercises for the greatest holiness. Some say this was a seminal influence into creating a Chinese martial art. Others disagree.
Some Chinese scholars say that Chinese martial arts antedates the Shaolin Temple, that they were practiced in China hundreds of years, even thousands of years before this, and that this is just one aspect of Chinese martial arts.
According to legend, the monks developed their exercise routine into a martial arts form that allowed them to defend themselves and their mountain temple against bandits and warlords. The monks' exercises would come to be known as Shaolin boxing, or Chuangfa, way of the fist, and later in the West as Kung Fu. Shaolin Kung Fu spread across China and would eventually encompass hundreds of styles.
Shaolin is like a big tree. It had many branches that offshoot from the trees, and there were many different styles.
Some were based on animal movements and emphasized the quick, aggressive attack method of the Chinese boxing school known as external or hard. Centuries later, Kung Fu would greatly impact the development of karate. Later, as a gift, Okinawa received a permanent colony of Chinese craft people and their families, including Buddhist monks and others skilled in Chinese martial arts. They began teaching the Okinawans. By the mid-19th century, the Asian martial arts were about to be discovered far outside their homelands. In the mid-1800s, thousands of Chinese laborers migrated to the United States for work in the mining camps and on the Central Pacific Railroad.
With that mass immigration came the secret use of Kung Fu, because it was still maintained only by families and not taught to outsiders. There were people skilled in Kung Fu that turned into work camps at night, oblivious to everyone else.
There are hundreds of martial arts, and within each are several styles. Many arts and styles share common techniques. Some are primarily hard, focusing on the kicking and striking. Others are soft, emphasizing throws, locks, and grappling. No one art can be considered the best, but among the martial arts of China, Korea, Japan, and Okinawa, There are about a dozen arts which have grown increasingly popular in the U.S. and throughout the world. Many believe at the heart of all Eastern martial arts is the ancient Chinese art of Kung Fu. In China today, Kung Fu training often begins at an early age. In fact, it's an integral part of the curriculum at some schools, such as the WUSHU or Martial Arts Institute in central China. Here, some 4,000 students practice Kung Fu daily. In China, the term Kung Fu refers to a person skilled in any field. Most Westerners, though, associate Kung Fu specifically with fighting techniques, some of which are adapted from nature.
There are even some specific styles of Kung Fu that just deal with animals, such as the mantis movements, which concentrate on how mantises capture their prey. And monkey movements, which use the actions of monkeys to design several fighting movements.
As Kung Fu spread throughout China, it began to reflect the physical characteristics of its practitioners and their surroundings.
In northern part of China, the people usually are taller, so they have longer legs. So they utilize the leg more, and then the land is more flat, so they can do more leaping and jumping. Southern part of China, the land and landscaping is not as flat. They have a lot of rocky mountain area, and people live in the area usually are shorter, so therefore they will stay on the ground more, so they use more hand than rather high jump and kick.
Since ancient times, the use of weapons has been a part of Kung Fu. Students from around the world study weaponry and other Kung Fu techniques at the International Shaolin Training Institute in central China.
Zen looked very closely at the purpose of life and looked very close at death. So if you could face death unflinchingly, you can live your life to the fullest. Always had this duality. So a very strong point in Zen was that the study of Zen prepared one for death.
The union of a lethal combat system and a spiritual philosophy may seem at odds. Yet tolerance has been the strength of Buddhism for centuries. It was tolerance that led the ancient Shaolin community to accept boxing and weapons training. The monks learned that slow, deep breathing, cheap breathing, not only gave them endurance and concentration during hours of meditation, but also increased their striking power. What helped them pray also helped them fight. However, a monk who was a master of combat was bound by rules to use his skill defensively and only as a last resort. The monks were influenced by the Taoist philosophy of Lao Tzu, a scholar in 6th century BC China. In his book, The Way and Its Power, Lao Tzu writes of living in harmony with nature and understanding the balance of opposites in the universe. In Chinese, Wei is translated as Tao and refers to the natural way in which the universe flows.
Natural way in the Taoist view would be the flow of a river, the fall of rain, and the coming and going of seasons. in the martial arts, if violent force is coming at you, the most difficult thing is to put a violent force against that force. You have strong conflict.
At its highest level, the harmony of mind and body is what gives contemporary martial arts masters awesome strength. As ancient warriors did centuries ago, many modern martial artists are able to develop their chi or ki, their vital internal energy, allowing them to perform incredible physical feats, yet remain unharmed.
If you talk about qi as an energy, one of the old Chinese characters for this is like a vapor just evaporating into the air. It's very hard to see vapor, but the concept of qi is also very elusive. So in the martial traditions, people talk about qi and having this energy flow through their body, but you can't see it.
It is possible, though, to feel qi. A master martial artist's qi is so powerful that he is able to actually transfer his energy to someone simply by touch. A burning heat sensation may result that can actually be used to heal a variety of aches and pains. The practice of developing qi is called qigong. It's a 3,000-year-old system based on breathing, balance, relaxation, and endurance exercises to form internal strength and energy. It can take years of training, of intense mental concentration, before one fully masters qigong technique and remains uninjured in its practice.
Meditation is very important because it helps us to calm down the mind. If your mind's not calmed down, your qi won't grow.
The most difficult part of this training is learning how exactly to guide one's qi where and when it's needed. This monk has so intensely concentrated his qi in the navel area that it holds the bowl firmly in place. When the monk, in effect, disengages his qi, the bowl is released.
First, I move the energy up from the area just below my navel, called the Dan Dian, up to my throat. When the energy stops there, I seal it off to make it strong.
There's an old Chinese saying that where the mind goes, the qi goes. So if you just practice and let the qi flow naturally, which is a strong foundation in the Asian tradition, is to just move naturally, have a natural movement in your martial art. If you move well, then the qi flows.
After years of qigong training, martial artists view these feats as proof of achieving the highest level of physical and mental discipline. Commercial ventures in the martial arts aren't limited to the West, of course. Once remote and mysterious, the Shaolin Temple, home to China's ancient fighting monks, is now visited by over 1 million tourists a year.
I think in the effort to make it popular and to make it accessible and for many people to make lots of money, I think we've compromised lots of things in the martial arts that we shouldn't have.
But others applaud. While much in the martial arts has changed over thousands of years, time-honored traditions remain. From the ancient era of Bodhidharma through the decades of the modern masters, the martial arts, at their most impressive, have always been about instilling courage, self-confidence, heart. The martial arts are increasingly becoming a part of everyday living, their benefits limited only by the infinite power of the mind.